Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I am Michelle. I'm a third-year Bachelor of Science student at the University of Melbourne, and for the first time in any of my videos that I've used that introduction, it's actually kind of relevant today. I thought that this week I would share with you guys how I study when I don't feel like studying. I have had a very assessment-heavy 2 weeks recently. As usual with assessment-heavy weeks, I found myself not wanting to study when it was most important to study. I thought, why not share it? Some people might have exams coming up soon, or some people, depends where you are in the world, might be going back to the new academic year. I hope that these tips help you out. I don't know where my eyes were just then, but yes. So first things first, I just want to say that these things are what work for me, and just because they work for me doesn't mean that they're gonna work for you. So as with a lot of study tips and study techniques, it's not gonna work for everyone. So you're gonna have to find what does work for you based on, you know, your sleeping habits, your eating habits. The thing I'm trying to say is I can't guarantee you any results. Let's get to the pointers because that's enough disclaimer. And if there's anything I didn't say, then I'll put a slide here. There we go. This is stuff I didn't say. Enjoy the tips all. The first thing that I do when I feel myself like falling into a rut, I'm at my computer. I just keep like putting away my phone or setting on a timer and then not even actually using it to study. The first thing that I do when I realize that is I don't study. For these 10 to 15 minutes, you just give yourself some grace and you don't force yourself to study, and you don't let yourself feel guilty for not studying. Don't sleep or nap because you're gonna want to keep doing that. Things that you can maybe do, you can go for a walk for a nice bit of fresh air, whether it's in your backyard or around your block or to the park and then back. Just something to clear your head and something you won't feel guilty about doing. Sometimes you can literally like even stare at a wall. Being so bored doing nothing can actually be kind of a good motivation to get you started on doing something. It makes you feel grateful that you have something to do. You can go to the kitchen, prep a snack, have a quick bite, grab a quick drink, make a coffee, jump on the spot for 5 of those 15 minutes, pet your dog, you can go talk to your fish, you can go annoy your siblings. It really doesn't matter. The reason that this step works for me is because more often than not, the reason I don't want to study is just because I'm feeling dread about starting to study, or I'm thinking so far ahead about, oh, these are the grades I have to get those grades I need to study this. It leads to this mini freak out. Do yoga, do meditation, whatever works for you. Just be gracious for those 15 minutes. After I do that thing where I don't study for 15 minutes, I then get really gassed about it. So the first thing that I focus on is the setting. In the daytime, I guess I would open up the blinds, make sure there's lots of natural light coming in, you have a clean desk, make sure your things are right where you need them. So have a cup of water or a bottle of water handy so you don't need to keep going down to the kitchen. I would prefer to have a coffee with me if I really need it. Some chocolates to just kind of bribe me to get some pages done or to get some notes done. In the nighttime, I usually reserve the things that are calmer and a bit slower. Some sort of yellow warm lighting works well for me. I usually light a candle. Make sure that the light isn't too dim, otherwise you're just gonna want to relax. And then the next thing that you can take into consideration is the music. So I know a lot of people already listen to lo-fi music, but that's not the only music you can listen to when you're studying. Guitar instrumental or piano instrumental. Cafe jazz really gets to me. Even like tiny ambient sounds of people talking but you not understanding them, that works well for me. Some people prefer to just have complete silence. Others like having like hard rock playing in their ears. Music tends to be a good way to kind of keep yourself awake or keep yourself not so stagnant. Have a study partner. I know it's COVID, so maybe you won't be able to study with them physically, but if you're having a solo studying session, it might be nice to get on a call with someone and organize an amount of time to be studying together. There's also a sense of accountability there. Whether or not they're studying the same thing as you, it's really helpful just to see that someone else is studying as well. You don't feel like you're all alone and the pressure is all on you to be studying alone. If you have no one to study with or no one else is studying at the same time as you, study with me videos, oh my goodness, there are so many of them out there and I absolutely love them. If you haven't checked mine out, I posted mine, I'll post it here. I posted mine last week. It's a 1-hour study with me. Some of them have no music whatsoever. Some of them have no ambient sounds. Some of them have like raining sounds. Some of them have daytime or nighttime, and it's just a whole range of things. So some of my favorites, if you don't know where to start or if you've never studied with me video before Merv, Abao, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Abao and Sebastian Period. I will link their videos, they really help me out when I'm studying, but there's no one else to be on call with and I don't feel like studying alone. Having someone there, that helps out with inspiration, and that's actually the next thing that I need to make me feel gassed. Just remember what you're studying for and why you're studying to begin with. So what are you trying to achieve? And for a specific subject, if you don't particularly like it, why is it compulsory? And what are the subjects that you'll be studying after it that you need this foundation for? You just gotta remember really that the studying pain, if that's how you see it, is just temporary and there are greater things ahead. Another thing that works for me in terms of inspiration is I just think of something that to me seems quite unattainable. I know this sounds counterintuitive. Let me give an example, it might help. So for me, I look at Oxford entrance requirements and I just look through that and think, oh my gosh, it would be amazing if I could do this. For some reason, I don't know why, it works for me. After I look at that for a few minutes, I'm just like, okay, I gotta study, even though it doesn't mean that I'll ever apply for Oxford or any of the other schools. I'm just like, yep, okay, cool, I want to study. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Don't think there's any science behind it. It just works for me. The next thing, and everyone's gonna tell you this, is you just gotta organize what you need to study. If you don't organize what you need to study, you're kind of helping out your future self to procrastinate, because you're gonna find something that you need that isn't there and you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta go get it. And then you go to get it and you find yourself distracted. When I get organized and when I grab the things I need, it gives me a sense of structure. Just get everything you need on your table or within like an arm's reach that you don't have to stand up and get it. Make sure your goals are there, because then that way you're actually getting your thoughts down on paper and you're not just getting distracted about how overwhelming it is that you have so many things to do. It's actually right there in front of you. As you finish each goal, it's really rewarding seeing that you've ticked something off. So even if at the start, right, your to-do list just says organized desk and you get to tick that off, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna tick off the next thing, because it does bring this sense of like rewarding and I feel better about it. All right, the next thing, small things first and then work towards the bigger things. I know a lot of people have suggested doing the big things first or doing the hardest things first, because then everything is quite easy after that. In general, that does work. But when I don't feel like I'm studying, the last thing I need is to overcome a bigger hurdle by making the big thing the first thing I have to do. It's just working your way up from work that requires very little of your brain to then working to something that requires more of your brain. First thing I'd do if I was preparing for like an exam would be going through the lecture notes and making sure I understand what I'm reading, so not just sifting through it. And then after that, maybe I'll work through some sample questions. If there are past papers available, I'll do that. It's not the whole like ripping the band-aid off kind of thought going behind that. It's just trying to get a small step in and then working yourself up to be like, to have enough momentum to get over the bigger steps. And the final tip that I have is to have a set finishing time. When I don't have a finishing time, right, I feel it's just a dark tunnel. There's no light at the end of the dark tunnel. And I'm literally just walking through it, not knowing when I have to stop. If I have a finishing time, no matter how far away that is, and no matter how many chunks I have to break my time into, I at least have that light to look towards. I know that, okay, by the time that I get here, I've given myself time and space to breathe, and I don't have to worry about it anymore because I've put in the work and I've done the work before that time is up. If I've got a deadline coming up real soon and I'm working up until bedtime, I make sure that I give myself an hour to wind down before I expect myself to fall asleep. Even semi-finishing times as well throughout the day, so that if I'm working at like 9 a.m, right, I don't feel hopeless looking at my finishing time, which is 10:30 at night, which is more than 12 hours away. I like to have it planned out on paper or on a screen, because that means I actually have something I can look at physically and that I have to hold myself accountable to. If it's just something I've set in my brain, I feel like I can kind of compromise with it. The work that I produce after that set finishing time is not to the standard that I want to be working at. So have a set finishing time, have it somewhere you can see it so that you can look forward to it and stick to it. Make sure that you don't compromise it. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of cheating yourself out on time that you should be spending on yourself instead. Like I said, right, these are what work for me, but different things work for different people. So please don't feel upset if these things don't work for you. Maybe it's a good place to start. Just do what you can, because pushing yourself to the point of breakdown will not do you any good. Focus on what you do have control over and not on what you don't. Focus on what you can study rather on the things you don't have enough time to study for. Just take it one step at a time. or one day at a time if you have days for you, and be really kind to yourself, because studying is hard, but you can do it, and praying for you, buddy. Anyway, if you have been watching this far, then you must really need the help, and so I do hope that the tips that work for me work for you, and if they don't, that they help you have some sort of a starting point to figure out what does work for you. If you are watching this video to procrastinate the work you should be doing, then let me help you procrastinate a bit more by asking for you to please like, share, subscribe, comment, press the notification bell, and anything else there might be to do with YouTube really would mean a lot for me. And off you go, shoo, go and study now, and have a blessed study, have a blessed week. I'll see you guys again next week. Thank you so much for coming to this YouTube video, and yeah, bye. Bye. Another video. If you're new to my channel, I am Y. Another video today. I will be and welcome back to another video. Why do I look greasy? Of Melbourne, and for the first time in I have had a very assessment heavy Hello everyone, and welcome. I don't know why I'm rolling. Yeah, so this is just what works this is just what works for me. You see what you have, maybe chai or tea. Well, wait, no. Chai is tea. Structure? How do you say structure? Gives me a sense of like structure is, okay, I really can't say it.